This is Sunday afternoon, and this is the Discord version of the uh, UK calls, and this is timed so that it's Sunday morning in Europe. So I welcome you all, though some of you are actually in Thailand. So today's topic starts off with the quality called, and the whole topic will be basically on um, the Sambojjhana. But I see that Prod Daniel has just arrived, and so I would like Daniel. Can you talk?
Hey, Dhammarato. Yeah, sure, I can.
All right. I would like for
Oh,
you then to go ahead and mention what we've got on mind.
yeah, so basically about 3 weeks 3 weeks ago, I approached Mikey um, if he wanted to sell my bike, my motorbike. So 2 years ago, before I was a monk, I was doing a lot of retreats on Koh Phangan, on Koh Samui, and so I bought a bike to go to the retreats and just yeah for like general usage. And when I left to ordain as a monk, I thought like, oh, I don't need the money right now anyway, so yeah, I'll just leave it on Koh Phangan, and then anybody who wants to use the bike can use it. So since then, it has been on Koh Phangan, and Scott, Katal, and Mikey, among others, have used it. And yeah, now basically, my friends are living in my house in the Netherlands, and I need to do some renovations to a moldy bathroom. So I need to sell the bike um, to pay for that renovation. And yeah, since I asked Mikey if he could sell the bike, but he kind of needs it to go to school and to go to the Wat, etc. Yeah, Dhammarato, Mikey, and I thought it would be a good idea to see if we could maybe raise the funds to buy the bike through OSF, which is convenient for me as well, because then, yeah, there's no need to sell it. We can just transfer it to OSF. And in this way, like anyone in the future who comes to the islands can make use of the bike. And Mikey was, of course, been helping OSF greatly, can continue to use the bike, which he also needs for his visa, as he is on like an education visa. And yeah, he needs to go to school to keep that visa. So I bought the bike 2 years ago. I think it was like 40 or 50,000 baht. I don't remember. It was at least 40. So we figured it has depreciated quite a bit. And we think it's worth about 900 US dollar now. And yeah, so that's what we're um, seeing if we can raise that through OSF. Um, yeah, so that's basically it. If Dhammarato or Mikey wants to add anything else, then go ahead.
Go ahead, Mikey.
Yeah, I'll post the link in the chat if any of y'all would like to donate. For you all watching this on YouTube or listening on podcast, the link is opensanghafoundation.org/new site/Dhamma. And yeah, we'll have the link posted here and on YouTube as well if you'd like to share it or go and donate thereafter. But you can do that after the Sangha call, so yeah.
Very quick
Oh, and
question, Mikey.
one
How do we?
one thing I did want to mention is that if we do end up raising more than $900 for the bike, currently we have somewhere in the ballpark of 300 raised just since yesterday, which is really happy to see that. Yes, thank you, Deidre, for your donation as well. But if we do end up raising more than $900, uh, the remainder of that money will just be saved for bike repairs, gasoline, and things of that nature and related to the bike. So if you could, when you make your donation, just say for OSF bike or for Prod Daniel's bike, this sort of thing. So that way we know where the money is to go. But yeah, go ahead with your question, Amit.
Yeah, I think you already answered it. So we have to mention it for the bike, and then that's how you will figure out.
Yes, yes, indeed. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. So
Or can I add something? It might be easy for people to have a PayPal account. If you don't have
Yeah.
that, then you have to do it via credit card. It's also possible.
Actually, that's right. That when you, I would like to reiterate that actually the easy way to do it is to go to the OpenSanghaFoundation.org, and every page has a footer that has the clickable item called a Dana. And when you click that, it'll open the Dana page, and I would like and invite everybody to read that Dana page and also see the video. And someplace on the page is actually a clickable item for PayPal. And when that comes up, the best way to do it is actually through a credit card. If you have a credit or a debit card and you pay for it with that, then all of the funds are transferred. But if you pay for it with other ways, like through a PayPal or whatever, then there's always a fee. But if you translate it, or if you pay for it through a credit card or a debit card, the entire amount is transferred to Open Sangha Foundation. So, also, I would like to add about Open Sangha Foundation that part of the reason for having Open Sangha Foundation, including the website, is to assist people in uh, their spiritual journey, especially giving information and also financial support. And that we've had a long list of people that we've done some financial support also. Luckily, Daniel was already self-sufficient, and so he was able to self-finance. But now that he's gotten into the situation that he's in now, feel free that we're able to actually not only donate to helping him, but also for the long term to help other people. We've helped Kat and Kimasitu and Eric all have ordained through our help and assistance. Plus, we've also helped some lay people. For instance, Mikey. We're giving him support, and Mikey's been quite instrumental in getting the website up and helping us with all kinds of things. As my health has deteriorated, we're counting on more and more volunteers to do the work. And as Mikey said, already just in one day, we've already gotten $300. So if you can dig deep into your pocket and find another C note, I think that we can put this thing to rest pretty soon. So thank you all. Does anybody have any questions about the bike or OSF or anything right now before we get into the talk? All right, so nobody says anything. Dean, are you good for this? When are you coming?
Yeah, all good, Dhammarato. All good. I'm look. I'll be there at some stage. I will be there.
All right. By the way, Jesus is already in the country. He's heading this direction. And so if anybody is wanting to come to Thailand to check out Deepa Bhawan or other retreat centers like at Wat Suan Mo, or go visiting Watts and things like that, we have a huge amount of information. And if needed, we can help you with visas or other things like this. And so this is the whole point of Open Sangha Foundation, is to give assistance to people who are on the path. All right, so now let's go into the talk. As I was saying, let's talk today about Sambojjhanga. Now, the Sambojjhanga actually is, in English, we call it the 7 factors of awakening. And that it's truly that way. But there is a key word that we will use for all and each of the 7 factors, and that is the word unremitting. Now, unremitting also has the quality of sustaining. And so, actually, the word meditation has been used, especially in Western Buddhism and in English, and they think that that's something like sitting on the floor for a period of time, 1 or 2 hours a day, long enough to get into great pain. Now, the important point about the whole teachings of the Buddha is that it's good in the beginning, good in the middle, and good in the end. When it's done correctly, when it's phrased correctly and taught correctly in order. So this is the whole point about the teaching of the Buddha. It's good in the beginning, good in the middle, and good in the end, which basically means that it's easy. And yet Western meditation seems to think that it's got an element of no pain, no gain. And the way that we would rather say it is no pain and no gain. That if you don't take any pain, then there's nothing to get you out of pain. That in fact, you could say that the teachings of the Buddha is almost a dead loss. That you're not going to get anything out of the teachings of the Buddha. Nothing. You're not going to get anything out of it. You're not going to get any attainments. You're not going to get any labels. You're not going to get any money. But in fact, the way to look at it is that it's a dead loss. What are we going to lose then? We're going to lose defilements. We're going to lose our unhappiness. We're going to lose our lack of skills. We're going to lose trouble. And so if we don't go looking for trouble, we're not going to find any trouble. And so as we progress, we begin to see that not only have we cleaned out our own mind and gotten rid of a lot of junk, but that the whole world looks better. Now, Dietrich asked a question about world peace. And let's talk about that just a second, Dietrich. First off, let's define what the world is. One definition of the world is the planet Earth, right? Well, the planet Earth is just fine. In fact, you could say that the only problem that the world has is that it's got a skin rash created by humans, and that the planet Earth would actually be better off without humans, but that's not going to happen. I mean, she's tried. She's given us COVID, given us smallpox, given us all kinds of diseases, and even gives us wars. But somehow or another, the poor planet Earth can't shake us. But she's still very healthy, quite okay. And she'll be hot and cold, one millennia to the next, whether humans are here or not. So she's tolerating us happily. So let us not think then of the world as the world of the planet Earth, but rather we can think of the world as human society. Now, the only reason why you would think that the world of human society is got a problem, is that it's not peaceful, is because the people who are looking at the world are looking at it through a frame of reference that it's not peaceful. That, yeah, some people are at war, but that's their thing. There's no reason for you to be at war because other people are at war, that you can become peaceful also. But there's a more important way of looking at it, because in fact, when we're talking about the world as human society, that's merely just a concept in your mind. You cannot possibly have a concept as big as, in fact, the world is. The world of human society is far too vast. And so what you'll do is you'll have one thought about that place and say that there's no peace there. And then you'll think of another place. And so you'll start to fill in the gaps of this concept, but you'll never get a complete picture. So let's get a better definition of the word world. And the better definition of the word world is that which you live, your personal environment, the paradise that you live in, the room or the building that you're in. That's all there is to it. That you cannot, in fact, see the world that needs peace. All you can see is your own environment. You can see 50 meters or so if you're outdoors, but most of you are inside, and so therefore all you can see is what's in the room that you're in. And the
One moment, everyone. Dhammarato's laptop is having some issues.
We'll practice patience meanwhile.
Yeah, just breathing.
I think we actually have a new record for people on the call. I'm counting 22 people. That's quite amazing. Maybe it's because of the switch to Discord.
It is a big call. That's great.
Yeah.
Daniel, you're still in
Yes.
Sonmok?
No, I actually got to Samui yesterday. So now it's kind of fun. Like I'm sitting in on the retreats. So just before the call, I did like a half hour. We did a half hour sitting meditation, and yeah, highly recommend you to stop by sometime and come practice. It's a really nice place.
In Koh Samui.
Yeah, on Koh Samui.
Mm. And which temple, which, what is it?
It's called Deepa Bhawan. I can send the link to you later.
Good.
all right, the world of this PC just died. So it's back up again. As we were talking about it, that the world that you actually live in is as far as your senses can go. That the world out there someplace is merely a concept that's still inside of your own mind. And so the way that you look at the world is the way from within your own mind. That in fact it's an important quality is to recognize that you don't actually, when people talk about world peace, what they are really asking about is, can I personally create my own world of peace? And they kind of blame the outside world for that. but that's getting it incorrectly. Another point about that, which is actually quite important, is that we would say that if the people in the world were good, then they couldn't hurt each other. But that's backwards also. That in fact, what we can say instead would be if the people were wise, if they were in fact happy. If they were happy, then they wouldn't be hurting one another. What we're saying here now is that the teaching of the Buddha talks about it at the noble level. At the ordinary level, it's taught that, oh, you've got to learn to behave yourself to live in society, but people are not, because their mind is not straightened out. That when your mind is in order, then you're not going to be hurting anyone, nor is it necessary then for you to see that other people are hurting each other, and it's your job to stop them, because you can't stop them. You can't make them good. Look how hard the religions have tried to make people good. I mean, the Jews and then the Christians have the 10 Commandments. That didn't make them good. The Islamic laws have Sharia law. That doesn't make people good. Wiccan religions and Hinduism and any of the religions that we've ever had hasn't been able to give a set of rules or a set of laws or anything like that to make people good. It's only within the teaching of the Buddha where we find that, in fact, what we need to do is to get our hearts straightened out, to get our minds straightened out, to get to the point that we're not harboring any ill will for other people, and therefore we're not going to act with ill will for other people. That we normally get that backwards in the sense of morality and doing good is going to make you good. But that doesn't work. We tried that with children. We've tried that with society. In fact, all of the world, everywhere you go, will have governments and religions and schools and teachers and old men and all kinds of things that teach us to be good, and it doesn't happen. But if we can find a way of cleaning out our own minds, then we can see that everything is good, especially your world is good, because you're the center of your world, and that the world out there is nothing but a concept in your own mind. So why don't you change that concept that the world is okay? It's got no troubles. If you can clean out your own mind, then you can clean that concept out too. So, Deidre, I ask you a question. Can you make the world peaceful?
I can make my own world peaceful and my
Well,
view
that's
of
the
the
only
world.
world you've got, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, your world. Even the world out there is not yours. That's just a concept in your mind.
But I can
Okay,
make it a
so
peaceful
enough.
concept.
Go ahead.
I can make it a peaceful concept.
Right, you can make it a peaceful concept. Yeah, Putin's okay. Trump's okay. The Democrats are okay. The Christians are okay. The Muslims are okay. I'm okay. You're okay. Everything's okay. We live in a paradise. It's up to you to be able to manage your own mind like that. Because if you see Putin as a devil, what are you going to do about it? It'd be very dangerous to get in an airplane and go to Russia and try to change Putin. You can't change him. In fact, you probably can't even get close enough to him without getting yourself into a world of trouble. So it's better to not go looking for trouble, because if you don't look for trouble, you probably are not going to find any. So that would be the way of looking at it, is to start changing your attitude. And this is what we're actually going to be talking about today, is what's called the Sambojjhanga. Now, in one of the sutras that I've just read, it talks about a world-turning monarch as opposed to a world turning Tathagata. Now, a world turning monarch in the old expression says that when you get a ruler who is a good person, who is going to deal with his society righteously and justly, that the 7 factors of a world turning monarch will appear. Now, the funny thing about those 7 things is that it had to do with the culture of the time of the Buddha. For instance, the wheel, horse, elephant, householder, women, etc., like that. And that those things are in every society anyway. But one of the important things that I read in the sutra, and by the way, it's number 26 in the Dinga Nikaya, is that when a monarch takes care of the poor so that they're not starving, then because they've got what they need, they're much less likely to steal or cause trouble. That in fact, poverty is the main conflict. And so, if we can, in fact, help people to come out of their own poverty, then we can help them to become happy and satisfied, and therefore they're not going to be out harming people. But the 7 factors of a world monarch was only an introduction to the 7 factors of a Tathagata, and what we mean by that is one who is awakened. And so what we're actually saying then is that when you have these 7 factors of awakening, therefore you're also awake. Now, these 7 factors of enlightenment are in a number of suttas, and one of the suttas is actually the Anapanasati Sutta, saying that we practice Anapanasati for the fulfillment of the 4 foundations of mindfulness. So Karwan asked a question about, well, Anapanasati's got 16 steps. Actually, no, it just has 4. And what are the 4? The 4 foundations of mindfulness. And what are those 4? Can you get your body comfortable, peaceful, and relaxed? The second one is your feelings. Can you get your feelings comfortable, feeling safe, secure, and confident? Can you feel satisfied? Can you feel successful? And then the third item of the 4 foundations of mindfulness is your state of mind. What is your state of mind? Is your state of mind of you lack something, you need help, you need food, you need clothing? The Buddha actually talks about the 4 requisites. There are only 4 things that we need. We need adequate food, not a great big banquet, just adequate food, adequate shelter, not a mansion, just a little hut, maybe even just a tent, depends upon what climate you're in. We also need just enough medication. We don't need a hospital. We don't need a whole pharmacy full of drugs, just enough so that you're feeling comfortable. And also, I think I've covered them: clothing, food, shelter, and adequate medical care. That's all that we need. And once we
And
have those
entertainment,
4
right?
requisites, go ahead. Who?
And Bhikkhu Buddhadasa also mentioned just enough entertainment.
I think that word entertainment is actually a bad translation, and I'm not going to um, uh, uh, I'm not going to say who, but I will say that
Okay.
the word entertainment is better understood as time structuring. We need a way of structuring our time. And so the question then would be in that regard of, how do you structure your time? What do you do with your right nows? If you are in fact staying with the world is at peace, then the world will be at peace. If you structure your time by saying the world needs peace and I'd better do something in a hurry to make the world peaceful, then that's what's going to happen. So I wouldn't say that the word entertainment would be the correct one, because we misunderstand the word entertainment to be all kinds of sleazy things. But in fact, we could say right entertainment, just enough entertainment. And one of the best ways that I know of entertaining ourselves is by watching the body, watching the breath, watching our feelings. Instead of television, look at your attitude. Look at how you feel. Look at your own thoughts. In fact, your own thoughts are quite entertaining, especially if they're wholesome. So, how we practice anapanasati then is actually for the fulfillment of these four foundations of mindfulness. We can entertain ourselves, in fact, with the Dhamma. We can entertain ourselves with these four internal things. Now, when we're able to do that, then we practice this four foundations of mindfulness for the fulfillment of, let's say it like this, so start over again. We practice anapanasati for the fulfillment of the four foundations of mindfulness. We practice the four foundations of mindfulness, including with the Eightfold Noble Path, for the fulfillment of the Sambojjhanga. These seven things. Now, someone asked about the chakras, getting really Hindu and all. And I would say that the only thing that these wheels, the seven wheels in the chakras have in common with the Sambojjhana is the number 7. That in fact these the 7 chakras are the groin, the navel, the belly, the heart, the throat, the third eye area, and the crown of the head. And these are magical kinds of things that the Hindus will work on, but all of that could be actually considered within just the body, and that we can actually then practice all four of the foundations of the body, the feelings, the mind states, and the mind. And when we have that, when we are able to, in fact, continuously do that, when we can entertain ourselves on a constant basis, unremitting, then it becomes a factor of enlightenment. And yet, Western idea is that, oh, you've got to meditate for 2 hours a day. And the easy answer to that is, well, what are you going to do the other 22 hours a day? Can you sleep peacefully, or are you going to toss and turn? Can you be entertained with the reality of your own being, or are you going to be seeking entertainment out there in the world? In other words, you're not good enough to have your own internal television. You got to go find it outside. Well, what kind of attitude is that? Why can't we have the attitude that, well, everything is okay right here inside? I can deal with this very easily. So, when we gain the skill, and we gain that skill by practicing, and every moment we have the chance or the opportunity. You can be riding on a bus, on an airplane, you can be sitting in front of the TV, you can go anywhere and do anything, and you still have the opportunity to look at what you're doing, to look at how you feel, to look at the body, to check out your breathing. You have all of that stuff available to you wherever you go. It's always now, and that stuff is available to you now. And the order that you practice it in is not important, but it's easier if you start with the easy parts. The example of that would be the body changes very, very slowly. It ages over time. Once we get stuck in the feelings can last. But our attitude can change very quickly, and so can our thoughts. And so this is the place for beginners to look, is that they look at the thoughts that they're having. And then with the thoughts, we can change our attitude. And with our attitude, we can change the feelings, and with the feelings we can change the body into being relaxed and comfortable. So, someone also recently said that when he's all full of emotions, the emotions are outweigh or take over his wisdom, and he's got that wrong. He's got it backwards, in fact. It's because we're not paying attention. It's because we're not looking. It's because we don't have any wisdom that the emotions will take over. It's very easy to understand that if you go watching your feelings and watching your thoughts, that the thoughts, in fact, precede the feelings. The thoughts precede the feelings, that the mind is the forerunner for our actions. It's also the forerunner for our speech, but almost all speech and action have to do with how we feel. And so if we can watch what we're thinking, then we can fix that so that we can have the right attitude, that everything is okay. And with that, we can start to feel good. And with that, we're going to behave ourselves in the body by being relaxed and comfortable. Now, we need to practice that. Practice over and over and over again to apply that, to apply yourself to looking at what the mind is doing, to apply yourself to look at what kind of attitude or mental state that you have, to apply yourself to actually looking at how you feel. And as you do that and practice correctly according to the Anapanasati, what we then do is by looking at the mind, we can then decide to gladden the mind. And by gladdening the mind, we then begin to manage our feelings. And the feelings with a gladdened mind, when the attitude is a gladdened attitude, that means that now we no longer feel afraid. We feel safe, we feel secure, we feel comfortable, and as we keep practicing, we feel satisfied. Now, the interesting thing about satisfaction is this is the major point of the teaching of the Buddha. He teaches only one thing. Through the Four Noble Truths, he teaches only dukkha, dissatisfaction, and the eradication of dissatisfaction, which means that all we need to really do is to become satisfied. So, Dietrich, can you be satisfied with the world?
I can.
Yes, if you can be satisfied in the world, then you can walk around and other people can get a big load of your satisfaction, and maybe it'll rub off on them. You can't force it on them, but you can let it rub off on them. So this is the whole point then is that you can't fix the world, and that's actually a very big gift because you're not responsible for how other people feel. You're not responsible for other people's behavior. They are. But the big point about that is they're only responsible for that behavior, but that works with you too. You are only responsible, and you're the only one who is responsible for what's in your mind. You're the only one who is responsible for the way that you lean your mind towards the correct attitude. You're the only one who can actually change your feelings. You're the only one who can do that. And so by understanding this, that gives us then the motivation that it's up to me to do it. I can clean out my mind. I can, in fact, continue to do that. Now, the interesting thing about the Sambojjhana is that it is directly related to the Eightfold Noble Path. But the Eightfold Noble Path is generally for getting started, that we practice remembering. Well, when we have this the Sambojjhana fully there, that means that we remember regularly. Anything that comes up, we remember. Remember to look. You see something, and then you see how it affects you on the inside. So the Sambojjhana is actually the completion of the Eightfold Noble Path. Now, the Eightfold Noble Path is basically, actually, I'll say it this way: the Eightfold Path. There's two of them. The ordinary path and then the noble path. What is the ordinary path? Is the ordinary path starts with behavior. It starts on the outside and then works inward. So that we start with morality, and then when we get the mind together, then that will gather some wisdom. Once we get that wisdom going, once we have the ability to look, now the path becomes noble. And the noble path then is that we start with the wisdom that we've just gained. We then unify the mind, and with that unification of mind, our behavior, our sila, becomes high quality, first class. We don't have to say, thou shalt not. What we can say instead is, I don't care. I wouldn't dare do that. I don't care, because I've already got everything that I need. And if you have that attitude that you don't need anything, then you're not about to go kill somebody to get it, because you've already got what you want. You're not about to go steal it because you've already got everything that you want. You're not about to go molest somebody to get something because you don't want anything. You're already okay. So, how can we get ourselves into that kind of state is easy. The question is, how do we sustain it? And the way that we learn to sustain it is by doing it over and over and over again, repeating, repeating, and repeating. And so this is what that key word of unremitting means, is that we keep repeating. We remember to keep repeating. What are we repeating? Is to look at what we're doing. So in the Sambojjhana, it's actually got a list of things just like the Eightfold Noble Path. And the first item on there is unremitting sati. Unremitting sati. What does that mean? That you keep remembering, you keep remembering, you keep remembering, you keep remembering. To what? To look at the state of mind that you have, to look at the thoughts that you have. And with that, guess what? The third one comes up is that you don't have to work at it anymore because it's unremitting energetic. It happens automatically. You've now developed it as a habit. In fact, is a way that you can say it in modern language, is that we have developed the habit of being joyful. We've developed the habit. There's not much energy that's needed to work yourself up to feel good. That's no energy at all. But in fact, you've got the energy there because you've gotten the unremitting sati, the unremitting looking. Then, therefore, there's no right noble effort. It's actually just there. Now, the fourth item on the list would be sukha piti, which means that you have automatically keep remembering to be joyful, to be happy, to see the world as a joyful, happy place instead of saying it needs peace. Well, when you say that the world needs to be peaceful, that means that basically it's you, Dietrich, who needs to be peaceful. But if you can remember, everything is okay, I'm at peace, then let the world take care of itself inside of your own mind. And you'll say, well, it was peaceful enough, good enough, because we've got the joy. So we've now covered what? We've got unremitting sati. We've got unremitting looking, unremitting investigation of the states of mind. The next one is unremitting energy. It's no longer an effort. It's easy to do. Easy peasy. Everything is okay. And with that comes joy. It comes satisfaction. It actually is a feeling of being successful. Now, with that feeling of successful, of being satisfied and everything is okay, guess what? There's no turbulence left, and the mind actually does settle down. It settles down. We don't have any conflicts inside the mind, that the mind becomes what is in the Pali is called samadhi, and it's often referred to as concentrated, but it's easily to misunderstand the word concentration because it's got so many different meanings. What we can actually say then is samadhi would be better to say unified, collected, one-mindedness, that you're not a crowd, you're not in the state of doubt about, well, maybe I do this first or maybe I do that first. Instead, you just take things as they come, one by one, as they occur. Now, with that unremitting unification of mind, right unification of mind, comes the last item on the list, which is the word is upekkha. And what does upekkha actually means? It means balance, that everything is okay just the way that it is. It doesn't need to be tweaked. You don't have to add this to this side of the scale or that to that side of the scale, that you're already okay just the way things are. So this is the Sambojjhana. And when we have those 7 factors of awakening, guess what? That's awakening. That's all there is to it. And when you are missing one of those factors, generally the first one that's missing is we don't remember. And if we don't remember, then we're not going to look. And if we're not going to look, we've got no energy. And if we've got no energy, we've got no joy. We've got no peacefulness. We've got no unification of mind. You got no upekkha. But when you can get the that first item of remembering, remember to look, remember to look, remember and remember and remember to look, then the rest of the 7 factors will come right along together. And so this is actually the skills that we need to develop, which is right there in the Eightfold Noble Path, is to remember, to look, and to take the effort to make a change. Well, once we've got the Sambojjhana, the only change there is to be joyful and relaxed. And that's the factors. Now, there's one last point, and that is that in the Anapanasati Sutta, as well as many other suttas, that in fact in the 117, the Great 40, is the exposition on the Eightfold Noble Path. These 2 items are still there. So we practice the 7 factors of enlightenment for these final 2 points. And those final 2 points is knowledge and deliverance. The knowledge that we have that the mind is unified, the knowledge that the mind is balanced, the knowledge that we have peacefulness, the knowledge that we have joy, the knowledge that we have the energy, we have the knowledge that we can see, and we have the knowledge that we can remember. So backing that up, now when we have knowledge, that means the knowledge of whatever it is that is a burden. And so the deliverance would be the same as dropping, to let go of it. As I said before in the early parts, is that Buddhism is all a dead loss. The only thing that we're going to gain is nothingness. And when you have freedom, what does freedom actually mean? Is freedom is just another word for nothing left to lose, because we've already disposed of all of the dangers. We've disposed of all of the cares of the world. Now, one of the things that we're not ever going to dispose of is the lack of knowledge, the lack of what I would say it comes in the sense of ignorance. I know that in Western society, we want to know. We keep wanting to know this, that, and the other thing. And in fact, can we actually come to the point of being happy that we don't know everything? All we need is enough. And what is enough? What is enough? Ivan, what is enough?
This moment. I don't know.
All right. What is enough? Let's see. Chris, What is enough? What is enough knowledge?
What is enough knowledge? Uh, there's never enough, but that's not true because
And,
all I have is what I have.
mm-hmm.
I mean,
Okay, maybe we could say it then that the knowledge that we need, the enough knowledge, is knowledge that everything is okay. Everything is fine. That's all the knowledge that we need. All of the other knowledge, let us be ignorant about it. Let's be happy that we don't know, that we're not sure. So, Karwan, did we cover Anapanasati enough for you so that you just take care of one piece at a time, whatever occurs? You still got the mic muted.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think now. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
I do get a lot of value from it, but one thing that I just noticed is that there is something in me that fundamentally does not like living. It is not so worse that I say, okay, now I will commit suicide. Basically, I don't want to commit suicide. But if I'm very, very honest, I fucking don't like this. I
All
just
right.
feel like I am now here and I need to deal with this, and now I need to talk to myself that everything is okay, and I believe that eventually it will become maybe okay. But if I'm very honest, I just don't like this.
All right.
That
Here is actually kind of a catch-22. In order to be alive, you need to do the things that are needed to be alive. For example, we have the 4 requisites. We also need to breathe in order to stay alive. However, you have the instinct inside called the self-preservation instinct that wants you to stay alive. Everybody here on this group wants to stay alive, but then they don't like it. All right. Can you see that? Can you see that being alive takes a certain amount of effort, but that part of that is that you've got this drive to stay alive, and eventually that that instinct is going to lose. Eventually, you're going to die. Now, there is a place in the sutras, in fact, I think that if I can remember it, is Anicca Vata Sankara Upatavayudamino Upajitawa Neru Janti Tesa Vipassano Sukho, which means or translates that death is the highest sukha. Death is the highest peace. Deidre, if you want the world to be at peace, you got to kill it.
also thinking,
All
but
right.
then why just not kill? Why not commit suicide then?
Well, they said in Vietnam that the only way to save a village is by destroying it. So, what that really means is that whatever it is that you are clinging to, whether it's the world or whether it's your Karwan, then in fact your aliveness is not liking to be alive. Can you kill that not liking? Can you let go of that not liking and say, aha, I see that not liking. Out you go. I'm just going to sit here and continue to breathe happily. I don't have to hate being alive.
Mm.
That you can just let it go. That's actually hating to be alive is it's an attitude, and that attitude actually has a concept or a story behind it. Now, the psychologist and the psychiatrist will go after the story. Why is, in fact, their question. Why do you not like being alive? And the answer is you don't need to know why you don't like it. You can just check and see. You can remember to look at that dissatisfaction with life is there. Life itself is not unsatisfying. It's our attitude about it that's unsatisfying. You don't like to be alive. It's just an attitude. Can you change that attitude to hot diggity dog? It's great to be alive. Think of your life as, in fact, short. One of the ways that, in fact, I've heard it talked about is think about today is your last day on earth. You're going to die tomorrow. What are you going to do between now and the time that you're dead? A lot of people are saying, I've got to call the undertaker and order a casket. I've got to go pay the bills. I've got to go write a will. I've got to do this and I got to do that. And I got to be in a hurry and all of that kind of stuff. Right? No, why don't you take the next 24 hours and just enjoy? Wow. Isn't it great to be alive? It's short and I'm going to lose it. So if you have that attitude every day, wow, life is really wonderful. Let me enjoy it while it lasts. But that takes that Sambojjhana, that takes that remembering. So whenever that thought or that feeling or that attitude of life's a bunch of shit, you'll say, well, wait a minute. Let me at least enjoy the last few minutes of it. Let me enjoy it right now, because right now is all we got. Who knows what the future is going to be? You may be dead tomorrow. But you have right now. Let's have fun right now. Let's enjoy what we're doing right now. Let's stop complaining right now. But in fact, that's what both Deidre and you were talking about, is that you're complaining. She's complaining about the whole world, and so are you. You're complaining about life. So yours is actually a bigger complaint than hers is. Planet Earth will be just fine without humans. But it's not your business to fix that. What's your business is to fix your own attitude. So you can look at that. Just like the guy who says, oh, well, when my emotions are big, I've got no wisdom. He's got it backwards. The way to think of it is, oh, let me have some wisdom. Let me look at what's going on right now, and then I won't have that emotion that life sucks. And everything will be okay. So, Santiago, do you have a question? Do you have a comment?
Yeah, I have a comment, which is that I want to kill myself is another unwholesome thought. It's another
Is
unwholesome
everything
thought.
okay for you?
So if you keep feeding
Mm-hmm.
the I don't want to live and so on.
Does life suck?
You know? No, it doesn't. And also when you get to that point, it's also worth considering a Nietzsche. It's gonna pass,
Yeah.
you know? You're gonna have that I don't want to do it no more. Da 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 da. Then
So
maybe like
remember
a couple
that
minutes
when
later,
life sucks, remember that when life sucks, it's because you're doing the sucking. And when you stop sucking, life doesn't suck.
I think another thing is like the Buddha. In some way, Buddha has to be life affirming. If not, then he would have just killed himself. He just said, "Oh, you know what? I'm just gonna kill myself." But no, he just stayed around. So in that way, one can see that if you're already
life.
satisfied, then life is good. So why would you kill yourself? It would have to come out of the desire of being unsatisfied for you to do that.
Exactly. That's exactly correct. That thoughts of suicide, thoughts of life not being good enough is just merely thoughts that are coming out of a long-term being dissatisfied. Over and over and over again, we're dissatisfied. So what we have to do is remember to practice to become satisfied. And when we're satisfied, life don't suck. So, Paul, do you have any comments?
No. I think what you mentioned about taking the day and being happy this day, happy this hour, happy these few minutes. That helps to not extend the dukkha and see it and be able to practice within those moments.
Yes, exactly so. Can you remember that all you have is right now? Let's enjoy the heck out of it. So, Ben, do you have a comment?
No specific comment, Dhammarato. No, only no. Good talk. Thank you.
All right. Dane, do you have a comment?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. I suppose for Carwin, I would just practice more and
Yes. And more and more and more than that. And can continue. That's all you've got to do right now is just practice more. Not
yeah,
harder, just right now.
yeah, and I would make it the most important thing of his life, and eventually he will start to experience some joy and some happiness, and then he will change his outlook on life because then he'll know that there is fate in a certain sense, that there is a possibility of feeling really good.
You can feel
Fate,
really
fate,
good right now. Everybody take a second, take a deep breath and feel good right now. Ooh, I see some smile. Ivan, you got a smile? Are you happy right now?
Really good, really good.
All right.
May I add something from my own practice? And yeah, what I've noticed is that like at the hardest moments in my practice, when I'm struggling the most, like the stories are very heavy. I have noticed that I will sometimes slip into the attitude of why would I even look if I'm not going to make a change because I feel overwhelmed. And then I started realizing that every time I start to have that attitude, then I stop looking, and that's why I fall out of the Dhamma. So then I thought, like, sometimes when you feel really overwhelmed, then for me at least, I just say to myself, like, okay, you know what? I don't even have to make a change to it. I'm just going to look at what's going on and I'm just going to let it do its dance. And then because you keep looking and you're not putting any pressure on yourself, like I have to make a change, like you're making a rule about it, then when you keep looking, then you realize like, oh, wait a minute, I can actually make a change to this. And you get the energy from the looking to make the change. And
Yeah, overwhelmed to overjoyed
yeah.
is just a very small thought.
So what do you think about that, Dhammarato? Like, it feels counterintuitive because you're kind of saying like, it's okay to be in dukkha. But for me, yeah, sometimes like it really helps like when I feel that I'm falling out of the Dhamma, when I can feel like the sati is starting to decrease.
That's the time to remember. Remember to look. And when you see
Yeah.
that dukkha, you say, I see you, Mara. I got you. So, Amrit, do you have something to say?
Very enlightening talk, Dhammarato. Thanks. And also thank Fra Daniel. But I just would like to add a simple comment because when Fra Daniel is saying when you're looking, but already looking is a change, right? Because the hindrance is you're rolling in some thoughts, but now you stop rolling in those thoughts and you're looking at those thoughts. This is already like a first change.
I missed that. Can you say the last word?
So I was said that already when you're looking, so that's already a change from the normal habit pattern when you are rolling in a hindrance.
That's
So that
exactly correct. Remembering to look is actually a change already. That's already a change. Remembering, that's a big change as opposed to not looking and not remembering at all. So yeah, everything about the Buddha's model is a change model. Animal, do you have something to say?
Hi, Dhammarato.
Hello.
So what you said about that, just the knowledge that that everything is okay, that it is possible to drop whatever dukkha, whatever thing you are holding on to, just it is possible to drop it at any given time and be okay. That knowledge itself is it's very helpful. It gives a sense of relief to know just that, and to know that you don't have to know everything else and you don't have to know all the answers to be okay.
Right, we don't have to know all the answers. We can just be happy. Don't worry, be happy. Don't worry about getting the right answers. That's what I
Right.
meant. Just enough knowledge. You don't need to know everything. All you need to know is, hey, I've got a choice here and I can be happy.
And we can forget that.
All right. How about Mango? Mango, do you have a comment?
Oh, hi there. Hi. No, I was just having some technical difficulties, so I missed the thread of the conversation, but I'm just happy to be here. So
Good one. How about you, Kearney? Kearney? Krishni?
Any version is okay. Oh, thank you for the lesson. I'm also glad to be here.
All right. How about you, Michael? Do you have any last comments? Anything to say? Come on, swiftly now.
I have a question, if you don't mind.
All right.
I'm curious, how do you change your feelings without the knowledge of where the feeling comes from, how is it formed, and how to change it?
That
What do you
doesn't
do?
matter at all. Where your feelings come from is, in fact, doubt. So you've gotten doubt. You've added doubt to your feelings. Where do they come from? You don't need to know that. What you need to know is that you can change how you feel by changing your attitude. And you can change your attitude by changing your thoughts. And so the first thing that you can say is, hey, I don't have to know how I feel or why I feel. I can feel the way I want to right now.
And how do you do that exactly?
Just say, wow, I'm glad I can see my feelings. Wow, I can change my feelings. Let me take a deep breath. You change them by changing your attitude, and you change your attitude by changing your thought. It's all a matter of change. That, in fact, if you can remember to look at your feelings, that's a big change so that you can see them. But being confused about where they come from, basically, I can tell you that the reason you have those feelings is because you thought them up. You made that shit up, and you don't even know that you made it up. So you think that the feelings are great big, where in fact they were always preceded by a thought. The mind is the forerunner. You can't feel unless you already thought about feeling. So if you think of something dangerous, then your feeling is going to be that of fear. If you think of a big chocolate cake or a pretty girl, then you're going to have the feeling that's got desire in it. But if you have the thought, wow, everything is okay, then you'll feel okay. The mind is the forerunner. Keep practicing that way. Another way of saying it is that you've been talking yourself into feeling bad for all your whole life. Now it's the time to talk yourself into feeling good without worrying about where those feelings of unsatisfying comes from. Talk yourself into feeling good.
Dhammarato, I also realize that the thoughts that we create that make us feel bad, like in my experience, it's always 9 out of 10 times it's rooted in wanting something I don't have. This is very weird, very, very weird justification of like I have to think to get it, and so whether I feel bad or not, it's okay. It's like a very toxic relationship with myself. It's old behavior. I just think it's funny. I just want to say it out.
All right. Well, I would recommend to both you and Matt the James Brown meditation. Santiago, do you know the James Brown meditation?
Oh, he's that singer, huh? James Brown.
How about you, Mikey? Do you know
I feel
the
good.
James Brown meditation?
Yes.
You do. All right. Do you know James Brown? He was an entertainer and he had a song. And the song is the James Brown meditation. And what is that? I feel good. Da 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 da. Like I knew I would now. I feel good. Okay, can you sing the James Brown meditation? Feel good. Just because you remember to feel good. That's the way that, and then you don't have to ask the question, well, now that I feel good because I sang the James Brown meditation, I don't have to ask, why do I feel bad? Because you don't feel bad, you feel good. So I don't think we got everybody, but we got more. How about you, Eddie? Are you on? You got your microphone going?
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking of the James Brown when he said, "Get on up, get on up."
Mm-hmm.
I like that too.
That's the same thing. Is I feel good. So we can say that, but it depends upon the way that you say it. If you say it, Ivan, if you say it, I feel good, then you're going to feel that way, the sound of your voice. But if you can say, I feel good, then you can feel like that. You can feel up because you've got that attitude in the sound that you make. You can literally talk yourself into feeling good. Just like all of these years, you've been talking yourself into feeling bad and not even know why.
Yes, very, very true. Yes.
So, Mikey, why don't you take this thing home?
Deidre, did you have something to say before we end up here?
Oh, thank you, Mikey, because otherwise I would have left it. No, I was saying it's just also because what Daniel said. I sometimes feel sad because something happened, and then I can really enjoy feeling sad because I say, oh, I'm feeling this, I'm experiencing this, I'm alive. And then it's like it's not like I still I'm sad, but I feel good.
Mm-hmm.
It's like different way of looking at how you're feeling at that moment.
Right. Here's the question, though, and that is that when you have that change going on, how long is that sadness going to last?
Now, not long.
Not long. Within a breath or so, you've changed the way you feel.
But it's also like having tears because of I lost somebody died, and then I really love that person. I really was so, and then it's not like a longing, but it's more like, oh, I feel the love. Can you get the difference? It's also like
Yes.
feeling I'm depressed. I will, but it will stop. Or it's like, oh, I love that person so much, and now it's gone, but I can feel the love. So that it's a different way of feeling sad. It's sad, like I'm alive.
And then you can change that really quickly into, wow, I'm glad I knew you.
Yeah.
I can let you go now because I recognize that I was really glad that I knew you. That's where the sadness came from, was because you missed something that you really liked. If you can acknowledge that you're really glad that you knew that person, now we can say, okay, time for my feelings and you and everything just to go. And there's nothing left.
Right.
Wow, what a relief it is.
Exactly.
Okay, Mikey, why don't you take it?
Yeah, thank you, friends, for being here today. I've posted the donation link that we had mentioned earlier in the chat if you'd like to take a look at that. And yeah, we've been doing one-on-one calls here lately. I've been really happy to see that. I know Prod Daniel has been doing some one-on-one calls. I've been taking one-on-one calls as well. And we have quite a few number of other friends and seasoned practitioners doing that. So if you'd like to sign up for a one-on-one call, all you have to do is type in the one-on-one call channel, day and time that you're free to do a call, and we'll link you up with somebody. So yeah.
That's one of the most important qualities that we have with this Sangha group is for you to make friends and contact each other and spend your time on the Dhamma as opposed to talking to ordinary friends, talking about ordinary unhappy things. You can talk Dhamma and be happy with your friends that you're seeing here.
Yeah. Yeah, they're really enjoyable. And you know, the thing that's so great about the Dhamma is it's just gets more and more fun the more you do it. It's really easy to have that enthusiasm for the practice because you see, wow, this really is great. And practicing with friends, oh, what a joy.
Oh, what a joy it is. Got good friends. Thank you all for being my friend. I really enjoy my friends. So good night and goodbye. Everybody have a good
Thank you,
moment.
Sangha.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dhammarato.
Viva la Sangha.
See you.